Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Sunday Whaps. It's Laz and Anna back again at the end of another work week, trying to spend a little bit of time together and watch some videos, relax a little bit after a particularly dynamic week, and especially the particularly dynamic Friday that we had today. And yeah, unless you're doing something else or have your back turned towards your TV, you'll be able to see that glasses. Uh, Now, when it comes to glasses, I actually had them for quite a while now. It's just that I didn't exactly need them at this point.
Or you thought you didn't need them. But I have been, mentioning kind of from the beginning of when he got them, why aren't you wearing your glasses? Why aren't you wearing your glasses? And instead of keeping them in the protective case that he got them in, they were just kind of collecting dust in his, in his desk drawer.
Yeah, so what I noticed is you, of course, I think I've mentioned this several times already. You, of course, know about my hobby. So I do Warhammer miniatures. So I collect them, I assemble them, I paint them. And recently I've even started playing in the local Games Workshop. I'm currently participating in the local quote unquote crusade, and we organize games every week. Every week, we get matched up with other players, and it's up to us to organize how we're gonna do it, when we're gonna do it, all of the details. So
Basically, all the details before the fun stuff begins.
yeah, more or less. So what I was going to say before I went into this little tirade about Warhammer is, trust me, it is very easy to get me sidetracked when it comes to Warhammer and stuff. Very easy, like notoriously bad. But what I was going to say is about glasses. So I've noticed as I'm painting all the miniatures and having this stuff like here-ish, I've noticed that I'm slowly starting to lose focus on the details. So I got my glasses on and I've noticed, holy shit, I can see things again. So now, one thing that's important to specify about these glasses, one lens in these glasses, specifically this one, is not a lens, it's just a glass. This one is actually a prescription lens.
Oh, wow. I forgot about that. That you have one eye that's,
Yeah.
you know.
One eye is perfectly normal, healthy, and all of that stuff. And the right eye, it turns out that I've got astigmatism of the right eye, and it's gradually getting worse and worse. Now, astigmatism of the eye is, in case you didn't know, when your back of the eye is slightly deformed, as in very, very slightly, and it only accepts certain range of wavelengths. And the easiest way to explain this is, at night you're driving, night driving, you've got a lot of headlights, you've got a lot of street lights beaming down on you, and you see the flares of those lights. If you didn't have astigmatism, so normal healthy people see a perfectly round lens flare, perfectly round glow. People with astigmatism see either an oval going vertically or oval going horizontally, and it kind of blurs your vision. And because I have it in one eye, up until now I didn't have any problems. I can literally just put my hand over my eye and I'll see perfectly normal. But because one eye is getting slowly blurrier and blurrier, don't worry, I'm not gonna lose my sight like in 2 weeks. As I said, it's getting very, very slow, gradually getting blurrier. It's slowly starting to mess with my depth perception. With my depth perception.
Depth perception.
Depth. Oh my god. It's starting to mess with my depth perception. There we go. And if you have one eye a bit blurry and one eye perfectly clear, it's kind of throwing things off balance, and you start aiming a little bit more to the left than absolutely necessary. So I decided to take the glasses out of the drawer, give them a nice half an hour polish, getting them cleaned and dried and cleaned and dried several times over. And now I'm wearing glasses as much as possible. Now, they say that when you're wearing glasses, it actually makes your situation, it makes you see normally, but it advances the it makes the whatever problem you have with your eye, it makes it progress faster, which I guess it kind of makes sense because your eye is trying to remain the way it was, and the lens is trying to change it, and it just kind of escalates. But it is what it is. They help me, so I'm okay with that. Now, the reason why, so most people either have astigmatism or they don't. Astigmatism of one eye, while it does happen every once in a while, there is a person with it, doesn't happen very often, and it usually has a cause. The cause for mine started about 20 something years ago when I was a little kid. So to tell you the story and to leave out all the details, I'm just gonna go through it in like very short terms. To tell the story, as a kid, I used to have a neighbor, also a kid, maybe a year or two older than me, and we used to hang out quite often. Until one day, we were playing with, as kids do, we were playing with sticks and wood and planks and all of that nonsense, and we were swinging all of that around until one swing actually connected with my face. Yeah, I wore an iPad. I wore an iPad. I wore like a cotton pad for an eye. Yeah, the eye patch
like
thing.
An eye patch, but not an actual eye patch. It was just literally a cotton pad with some tape or something.
So I wore that for like 2 or 3 weeks until my eye actually healed up, and ever since then it's gradually getting worse and worse. But as I said, the optometrists are here. We've got prescription glasses, and things are looking good again. And they kind of suit me. I like glasses as purely from a fashion standpoint.
I don't really like stuff on my face, so having to wear glasses is fairly annoying for me. I do wear contacts, but I just am sometimes a little bit, having to put them in, take them out, and stuff. So eventually, I am going to look into LASIK eye surgery. I've heard now that there is a bit of risk that people don't tell you about, but I'm still probably going to look into it deeply before I really consider it. And this is like years down the track, and which I might not even be eligible even now to be able to get it. So it's going to be really interesting, but I don't like things on my face, and having glasses on my face is really annoying. I just kind of, I guess, get used to it. When it comes to makeup, the makeup that I use, I can't even feel it. Like once I put it on, it's like it's not even there. So, I don't notice it. Many times I've gone to bed with lipstick on and not realized, and woke up in the morning and almost scared myself in the mirror because I completely forgot I had lipstick on. So glasses are really frustrating. And then having to poke my eye on a daily basis, twice a day, isn't very, appetizing either. So fingers crossed I can one day get rid of, glasses and contacts, but at the moment they're here to stay. And it does bother me a little bit, but, I try to get over it.
Fair enough.
No, glasses don't really suit everyone, so yeah.
I don't know. For me, it is fairly interesting because I have a problem with wearing jewelry and accessories and all of that stuff. Even now, you remember in last episode, I wore a ring. I already unconsciously took it off. It's right here, actually, on the bench. But as I said, I just fidget with it, toy with it until I make my skin sore, and then I have to take it off because my finger hurts now.
You kind of need to get it out of the habit of playing with it to make... there was a point that you did feel weird not wearing it. So you kind of, maybe it's getting to a point where, like, you train your unconscious brain to be okay with it, where you're completely distracted onto something else and don't even realize that it's there.
It just depends how I'm feeling, I guess. Anyways, we are here to watch some videos, and the theme for this week's Sunday Whaps is going to be that childhood favorite of most. So most of you are going to recognize this show. We are, of course, talking about How It's Made. It used to air on Discovery Channel for quite a while, and it used to be reruns upon reruns upon reruns. And no matter how many times I watched them as a kid on Discovery, I loved it to bits, because I found it interesting to see, as much as the public show will tell you, you know, behind the scenes. So I always found that interesting. I don't know if you ever watched How It's Made, but
you know what? Let's just, like, you know, we'll have to start the video to see if I've actually watched it. Like, it sounds familiar, but I'm just, you know, memory not great. So let's go ahead and find out, I guess.
Fair enough. So the first video on our agenda is going to be How It's Made about soft drinks. We're both fairly addicted to soft drinks. My soft drink of preference would be Pepsi Max. So quite a while ago, I actually transitioned from regular soft drinks to no sugar soft drinks, and while it's not it's far from a perfect fix, I actually feel better with no sugar soft drinks. I still get my sweet fix, but my teeth don't hurt. My sides of my, I don't wake up with sides of my mouth feeling sour from the excess sugar. It's just ugh. So I transitioned to no sugar, and now I usually just get the shits from all the artificial sweetener. Which, considering, again, too much information warning, considering I often suffer from constipation, artificial sweeteners are very welcome.
No. Yeah, like, I would happily go onto mineral water, because for me, originally, I would be like, oh, I just need you know, and he was like, no, it's the sugar that you need. It's the sugar that you're addicted to. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's not. And I think that we later realized, I don't know how long later, discovered that it's literally the carbonation for me, not generally the sugar. Sometimes I am craving specifically a soft drink that has obviously flavor and sugar. But a lot of the time, especially during summer, for some reason, I need to have a little bit of carbonation. I just feel like it leaves better than... Oh, and I always have to have cold drinks. They always have to be ice cold. So that's my thing.
And yeah, while I often have problems with my throat, I don't really fancy really cold drinks all the time. So differences. Anyways... We're here to watch how... Sorry?
I was going to say, so I am easily able to just go back to mineral water. And I've tried to be like, I think we need to go on another, like, you know, let's stick to mineral water, and then the odd occasion have a little bit of soft drink like we've done previously. But him being him, he's like, yeah, and then you get him a Pepsi Max, and then suddenly he's buying two 2-liter bottles of Pepsi Max.
Yeah, it just kind of continues down the track.
It just doesn't stop. And now I'm trying to get him back onto that, let's just do mineral water and normal water. And yeah, he won't. He's still buying. I still see him putting in the trolley. So I don't know how I'm going to tackle that, but...
Yeah, fair enough.
It's going to be a workout.
When it comes to me and getting away from stuff, I found that it works it's more easy for me to go completely cold turkey than go gradually, because when I just cut something out, then I've cut it out. If I go gradually, I will gradually go back up again.
Fair enough.
So gradually does not work for me, ever.
Fair enough.
Anyways, how it's made: soft drinks.
Something that a lot of people are addicted to. Let's find out how they're made.
The soft drink was born of the drugstore soda fountain, where pharmacists would serve up various flavors of carbonated water, initially considered a medicinal drink. These sodas became so popular that customers wanted to be able to buy them in bottles to take home. That demand spawned the soft drink industry.
Okay.
I don't actually know if you have...
In 2003, almost 195 billion liters of soft drinks were sold around the world. That's 30 liters for every person on Earth. These 2-liter plastic bottles have just arrived from the bottle factory. Even though they're brand new bottles, the soft drink plant still has to clean them before filling them. This rinsing machine turns the bottles upside down, then flushes them with water the plant filters on site.
I just think this kind of reminds me of... I don't know if you had this back home or not.
The machine turns the bottles right side up again, and they make their way to the filling station.
A thing here is called noddies, where you have refillable bottles of drinks.
No, we don't have that.
And you'll have a carton. They don't do it here anymore, but there was a lot of flavors that I really liked, and it was such a really good system. Such a shame that they're not around anymore.
Natural and artificial coloring and flavoring,
Oh, look, they're
and one or
doing
more
coke
of
from
various
syrup.
types of sugar, such as glucose or fructose, extracted from beets, corn, or cane.
I'm amazed how automated all of this is.
I'm just a little bit like, this video is supposed to make us not want to ever drink this stuff again, and it's
Now onto the
really
capping
not.
machine. The
What
caps
makes
come
you
down
think it's
chute
not?
propelled
It's supposed to
by
make us.
filtered air.
It's supposed to
The
inform
machine
us
twists
how
the
stuff
cap
is
on
made.
the part of the bottle called the
It's
crimp,
not inherently
intertwining the
malicious
threads of
or,
the cap and crimp tightly to
you know.
hermetically seal
I mean,
the bottle.
all the stuff that they put in it, they just make it look so normal.
Next stop,
And
labeling.
make it sound like, oh,
The
this is
machine's
sugar
roller
and this is
applies
that. No,
cold glue to
actually,
one
what
metal
is it
plate after
actually?
another.
They're
Each
not
plate
gonna
then
do
grabs a
that.
label and
Especially
applies it to a bottle.
a show like this.
Elsewhere in the plant, a machine called the uncaser unloads cases of refillable glass bottles that
Yeah.
have come back to the factory.
Here
The
you go.
cases continue toward a case washing machine. The dirty bottles head toward the bottle washing machine, where as they exit, they pass in front of a neon inspection light. Workers pull any problem bottles off the line.
How do you see anything
Now
at
the
that
bottles
speed?
head to the same bottling machine as before. Only now it's been adjusted to fill each bottle with 300 milliliters of drink, in this case, orange soda. Once the bottles are filled and capped, they go into shipping cases.
That's interesting. I guess, do you remember noddies? Like, that's not like something that, I will try and find a photo or some information about it and get Laz to put it up. And yeah, like noddies was really good. And after having the whole like glass bottles of like the basket and having all the bottles and then taking them, bringing them back and all of that kind of stuff and getting them refilled and whatever. Like after that kind of went, the quantity was less and less and less. And then they went into like plastic bottles, as we just saw, into the supermarkets where you could buy not all of the flavors that they had back when it was refillable, but some of the flavors that one or two at least that I liked from the refillables. And then eventually, like now, I don't think that they sell them anymore. I think Noddies has literally gone kaput, which is really sad because they made really nice soft drink, and the whole refillable bottles, reusable, was honestly a really amazing concept. So I just mean because we love smoked salmon. So, but this smoked salmon is different though. Like it looks raw, because you know how when we make a smoked salmon, it goes white.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how sometimes in supermarkets and in restaurants or anything you get a smoked salmon and looks like that.
Fair enough.
So I actually was thinking about that the other day. Like, why does smoked salmon look like it's raw? And when we make smoked salmon, it, goes white. Like, it's really interesting.
I think because they literally just smoke it, and we cook it as well at the same time.
Well, I'm
I
really
don't know.
curious, so let's find out.
Well, let's have a little look.
For thousands of years, smoked fish was a survival food. People would cure their catches by salting them and hanging them to dry, or by smoking them over an open fire. This enabled people in cold climates to stockpile nutrient-rich fish for those long winter months.
Look at all those salmons.
Today,
they're all
we smoke fish
frozen.
primarily
Yeah, I was like,
to
why are they
enhance its
moving?
flavor.
Like, they're
This
just
is
stiff.
wild sockeye
Well, they're
salmon
frozen.
that
Not a
was
single
gutted
fresh
and
one.
frozen then they cut each fish in half lengthwise, separating two fillets from what's called the control bone, the fish equivalent of a spinal column. The tail is attached to it.
That person is really skilled at doing that. Fair enough.
They trim
it's
the
meat,
fillets
don't waste
using a razor-sharp knife. Slice
Jeez, you'd have to be
Workers coat
really
the fillets
skilled
in a
to do
mixture
that.
of salt and 26 spices, then let them sit for roughly an hour and a half. This
That's a
short
lot of
cure
salt.
time will limit the salmon's salt content to less than 1%. The fillets go into a huge smoke oven. Workers load its combustion chamber with sawdust. When the fillets come out of the smoke oven, they're thoroughly cooked, but still have the consistency of raw fish. Workers remove the pin bones. The fillets then go through a skinning machine, which neatly slices off the skin without removing any flesh.
And then they make chips out of that skin, which I really like.
In this case, 70 grams.
And they will charge you $70 for 70 grams.
They place each portion on a tray made of aluminum-coated cardboard. Aluminum they store and ship at a milder -18, the temperature of your home freezer, where this preservative-free smoked salmon stays fresh
There we
for
go,
a
vacuum.
full year.
I literally did not think that would take that long. But now it kind of really makes sense of how they make that. But not only that, it makes me realize they say that the fish is cooked, even though it looks raw.
It does not look cooked. I would not trust eating that. Then on the other hand, I eat sushi, so then...
And it has that. And I've eaten smoked salmon like this. Actually, an event I went to where I ate smoked salmon for the first time is where I actually, really liked it. And from then I would eat smoked salmon. So that's really interesting. So I literally thought I was eating raw fish, but I actually wasn't. But that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Funny thing, so when it comes to food, especially seafood, I like having some seafood every once in a while, and I like to vary it up. So sometimes it's gonna be a salmon, sometimes it's gonna be a kingfish, snapper. Sometimes it's going to be something a bit more seafoody, like like calamari, squid, crabs, all of that stuff. But I generally like to have seafood every once in a while. When I met Anna, she wasn't a fan of not just seafood, but fish in general.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why. You tried to explain it to me at some point, but I'm not exactly sure that I understood it completely. Why weren't you too fond of seafood?
Well, the reason why I actually, for a long time, didn't like seafood is because I was about probably 9-10 years old, and a family friend and his son went to, they would always go fishing very, often, and would all go together. Like, me and my mum would tag along and would all go together. So, my mum's friend from, when she went in high school with her, and they used to work together, or I think they met working together in a company, basically a very long time ago. And now she's my godmother, but back then at this period she wasn't. It was just family friends. So her husband and her son, we would go together to places, and sometimes her husband and her son would go fishing, and he's only about 3 years and 8 months older than me. So like he would kind of learn how to do fishing and stuff. And what happened was, as a joke, her son went and got a fish and was going like this and running after me and like doing that in front of my face, and the fish stank, and because of that I got completely put off eating seafood. Little did I know it was one of those fish that you don't actually eat and you throw back into the water. But, you know, I was only 9, whatever. I didn't understand that. And for a long time, I did not eat fish.
That's how childhood trauma starts.
Well, I knew why he did it, but I think that he didn't expect me to find that it stank and me to be put off that. And he actually, I think, apologized, or like he actually was like, oh, you know, later on, was like, oh, you know, I didn't realize that was going to happen. That wasn't my intention.
Fair, but the bit of damage was already done.
Yeah, well, anything that tasted way too fishy, I wouldn't like. I, for a long time, did not eat fish at all, anything seafoody. And then I eventually kind of went back into kind of tuna and flake, and that was it for me.
Which, interestingly enough, I wasn't aware of flake when I originally moved to Australia and all of that stuff. For the life of me, I couldn't figure out what kind of fish is flake. I've never heard about flake. And then after a little bit of research, I found that it's actually shark meat.
Yeah, it's a shark fin.
Yeah, no, it's not a shark fin.
Oh, well, actually, I've had shark fin soup.
A shark fin is disgusting. Shark fin is literally just fat.
I think maybe they just called it shark fin soup, but I actually had a shark soup at one point as well at a Vietnamese wedding.
Yeah.
So that was actually like a range of different seafood that I tried everything. This is before the whole getting put off seafood happened.
Yeah, I'm not really sure at this day and age. But what I was going to say, I'm not sure about then, but I'm pretty certain that shark fin soups are now actually illegal.
Oh.
Because in order to make a shark fin soup, you would catch a shark and you would cut off its fin. That's it.
Well,
everything else goes to waste.
But wouldn't, like, you make flake out of it as well?
Different type of shark.
Oh.
The sharks that shark fins come from, traditionally for shark fin soup, are larger sharks. So a tiger shark, white shark, you know, bull shark, nanny shark. Larger sharks that have bigger back fins. And because shark's meat naturally has a fairly high percentage of mercury in it, and is generally not particularly tasty to begin with, it is extremely ill-advised for, it's ill-suited for human consumption. But because shark fin is purely just fish fat, which is just gross. You can eat it. I don't guarantee it's gonna taste good, but you can eat it. It's one of those delicacies that kind of everyone wants, but just kind of doesn't taste good. Have you ever had that when someone comes to you and say, "Oh, this is a delicacy," like some obscure stuff, like the whatchamahave, like the fish roe, aka caviar.
I was gonna mention that.
Or for instance, the what are they called? Like 1,000-year eggs that have been sitting around. I know they haven't actually sat around for 100 years. I think what goes into preparation of a 1,000-year egg is like 40 days. It's still gross. Tried one, didn't like it. Then everyone's saying, it's a delicacy. No, bitch, it's gross.
Yeah, I don't know why you eat that. Caviar is absolutely disgusting. But like in saying that, before that, like me getting put off fish incident, when I was really little, my mum didn't have time to clean the fish from, like, the bones from the fish, I would just be like, I would grab and went to eat, and she's like, no. So she basically banned me from touching the fish, and I had to get the fish from her because she had to clean all the bones out of it. Otherwise,
Well,
yeah.
usually you don't serve river, freshwater fish and stuff, and fish that has a lot of bones to little kids. Not recommended.
Well, yeah, so she couldn't clean the fish fast enough. Oh, I loved it. It was such a good fish. And yeah, I just back then loved seafood. But yeah, it kind of went downhill a couple of years later. But yeah, I'm kind of slowly warming back up to it. I still have my little bit of, oh, no, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that. But I'm much better than what I was.
And I'm very happy to hear that, because I love my seafood. And over the course of who knows how many years now, I've experimented with seafood and tried preparing it this way, that way, with this, with that, what goes well with it, what doesn't go well with it, how it feels in the oven, how it feels when fried on a stovetop, and as of recently, how it feels when smoked in a smoker, And I'm happy to say that, I've actually contributed a lot to you coming back to seafood.
I think
I'm super proud of myself.
I mean, could you really call tuna and canned seafood and flake at the fish and chip shop?
For flake, yes, but tuna... Canned tuna,
the way that I look at it is that you are probably the main contributor, because when someone says, I'm eating some seafood or I'm eating some fish, I literally mean like an actual fish that they've, taken time to prepare. And that's what you have done for me.
Oh, yeah.
But can I mention one of my favorite? So one of the best things that we ever did was go to Barbecues Galore to go get some briquettes for the smoker to put a salmon on the smoker, and they actually were like, we don't know what to season it with, so they gave us advice of what marinade or season to do,
and it's actually much simpler than what you can imagine.
Oh, it is.
So it takes only 3 things?
I think
three things: maple syrup,
pepper,
and soy sauce. That's it.
Yep, that's it.
Now, one advice. You're going to ask me, where's the salt? It's gonna taste bland. No! Soy sauce. Salty as.
That's why you have soy sauce.
Do not put additional salt. Your body does not need that much salt. Your kidneys do not need that much salt. I'm not trying to give out health advice. It's literally just, you're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be salty.
But yeah, so going and finding out that kind of combination and then making that with the salmon and then putting it in the smoker with applewood, like even hickory was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably one of my favorites. And first I started kind of out with just eating obviously the salmon meat, and he basically made me have some skin, and I was totally like to start off with. He forced me to try it, and now I love it. Like I just
because
love it.
First of all, fish skin is rich in all of the. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a professional nutritionist and that I know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't, but I heard from numerous sources that fish skin is actually rich with all of those like beneficial omega whatever oils and all of it. Fish oil.
Well, basically. Yeah, what you said to me is, here, eat the skin. It's really good for you, because those fish oil capsules that people take, it's basically just eating this, like eating the fish skin.
That's what's, whatever's in those capsules or fish oil, it's most predominant in skin. Meat is going to have a little bit, not that much. Skin, best. Especially if you've dry smoked the fish and seasoned it with properly, then it turns slightly crispy. So it's not gummy, it's not chewy, it turns crispy, and it is just the best.
Oh, I like it either way. Like, it's just good. But we actually get our salmon from Costco. I find that the best salmon is actually from Costco. Like it fits in our smoker. It's not too huge.
Now, one thing for our international viewers that we have to make a distinction here.
Okay.
We are talking about Australian salmon, which is going to show up here. I wasn't aware of Australian salmon when I first arrived here. I thought salmon is salmon. And for me, until I learned about Australian salmon, when I said salmon, I meant the sockeye Canadian salmon. You know, the one with the beak, red belly. You know, what you think of first when people say salmon, as shown here. So I was quite surprised when I went to a fishery and like a fish place.
Yeah, fish pier.
Yeah,
That's what we get our seafood from.
and I was like, just give me a salmon. Doesn't matter how much it costs. Give me the biggest one. And she gave me this like gray small mouth thing that it was big, but the flesh of the fish was not red. The skin was not red. The head looked completely different, and I was like, I'm not sure this is salmon, but I wasn't going to contradict them because, social anxiety and all of that stuff. I felt awkward, so I'm like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, luckily you did go do your research instead of saying it, because you would have just made yourself social anxiety.
Yeah.
Even worse, because they would have made you look like an idiot.
Yeah, and so I went home and I actually prepared the fish, and it was amazing. I just didn't expect it. When I ordered salmon at the fish place, I expected something completely different.
It wasn't what you thought it was.
Yeah.
But in saying that, so we get our salmon, the actual full salmon, from Costco because they're the best from there, we've noticed. And the size-wise, it fits into our smaller size smoker. So they've kind of, I guess, gone now to just the salmon fillets and not the whole salmon. I might actually ask next time.
There's a reason.
why.
Well, it's winter and
fair
it's out of season.
So
In springtime, because, hemispheres and all of that stuff, so around September-ish, you are going to start noticing an influx of fresh salmon coming in, in all of those bags and everything.
Which it's going to
we're
be
looking
time
forward to.
for going to Costco. But once that comes around, now that we can't really do that, but once the dumps come around, I was completely intending to, was it Christmas or was it,
one of the holidays.
One of the holidays, I was intending to get a nice salmon, and it's going to be great. And my mum is going to try the salmon skin. And I know you're watching, Mum, so you don't think that you've gotten away with it, because it's coming.
Ain't gonna get away from that one.
Nope, it's coming. So September, now she's probably going to stay away from us in the whole spring season. Just wait till winter, because whenever we talk about food, she's gone. But it's coming. So I want her to try some, and I can already hear her right now. I'd be like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I can already, but no, literally she's...
So, I also want to point out that woman hates lamb.
Yes.
And I can't cope with that. For me, lamb is one of the most amazing, red meats and stuff. I just love lamb.
Yeah.
I just want to, put that out there.
Yeah, and she does not like
Doesn't like it. I don't get it. Doesn't compute.
I even at this one point tried it, didn't work, but before she was pregnant with me, she actually did not like cabbage roll. So it's a sour cabbage leaf with mint, like a mince mixture wrapped. So we'll probably enter a photo.
Yeah.
And
it's a traditional meal for
Balkans.
For back home.
Yep. So she originally did not like sarma, or cabbage roll, and found out that after she had me, or from when she was pregnant with me to after she had me, she actually started to like it, and she actually makes it now and likes it. And and I thought to myself, I'm going to be a little bit of a smart ass and be like, so Mum,
sneaking some lamb into it.
No, I decided to ask her if she actually liked lamb before she was pregnant with me and before she had me. And she's like, nope, I hated it back then and I still hate it now. And I'm like, damn it.
Whatever. More for me, I guess.
Because I could have had a little bit of hope that maybe if she did in the past, and because it's not ever going to happen, I can say it. But in my brain, I was possibly going to try and implement and give it to her and see if she'll eventually get used to it. Which, I think there was like 1 or 2 things that she's had that had a little bit of lamb in there and she didn't realize.
She noticed. Did she?
No, there was one she
Fair
didn't.
enough.
And I realized, because I thought she was going to, I was like, I forgot that it had lamb in it. And, oh God, I can hear her saying, oh.
It was probably a very, very small amount.
Well, I could taste it, so I'm surprised that she didn't. But I literally last minute, after she had already taken a few bites and had already swallowed those few bites, I realized, and I was like, oh my God. And I was just about to tell her, and I thought, wait, she hasn't mentioned anything.
No. Just better.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut and see if I could kind of continue on with it later on down the track. I didn't, because I forgot about that too, and she's now finding out about it with everyone. That she actually ate a few things with lamb in them, and I don't think she's going to trust me anymore now, to be honest, when it comes to food.
Anyways.
But yeah, you're definitely going to try the salmon skin, because Laz literally makes the best smoked salmon in the smoker with the what we learnt of the marinade and stuff.
It's good and it's healthy.
Yep, when it stays overnight specifically, it's amazing. It's amazing.
It soaks up all the maple syrup, and when you treat it with some heat and everything over a period of time, it just all of that sugar in the maple syrup kind of crystallizes, and it makes the thing crispy and nice and brown, and it's good.
Oh my God! Like seriously, Costco, just like hurry up and get those full salmons in.
Anyways, enough about food.
Yes.
Let's talk about food.
Salmon.
Enough about food, let's talk about food. Anyways, our next video is something that should actually hit quite close to home.
Oh,
because
yes.
you used to work in one of these places.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to find out how other companies do this.
Let's see how true this is.
Yeah, this is actually a perfect opportunity to find out or this could be an American company. So let's just find out.
No, actually it's not, because this is Discovery UK. So this is an English company.
Okay, well let's find out to see, how similar it is. It's going to be very interesting.
Let's swap out.
The chicks use their beaks to crack a hole through the shell, then a horizontal line all around.
So how many similarities and what's different from the process that you used to make?
Okay.
We are not going to disclose any companies, but Anna worked at a hatchery.
Yeah, I did. Well, their name's slightly changed. I don't know why the hell they changed it, but they did. So with the hatcher trolley, so the trolleys are going to the incubators. They are the same. The doors, though, for us were not the smaller size. So with the way that we would have to pull them is we'll pull them out sideways and then pull them from the front or the back of the trolley out. And we would have like these wheels that kind of attach to the doors, and we'd pull them out. And they'll go into the rooms where all the hatches are, and would have these big metal tables, and it's usually 4 people per table. So 2 people on one side and 2 people on the other side. And so what they would do is one side would have the incubator trolley, which would also be in the egg room. So an egg room is like when they have trolleys of like eggs in the cartons from the farms, they bring them into the egg room where it's cold. And then we literally manually take them out of the thing. So I can fit 3 eggs in one hand, so total of 6 eggs, and put them into the plastic trays and then stack them on top of each other. And I think it was a stack of 4 on top of each other. And you'll literally just put them, when you got higher, you literally put your leg onto one of the levels of the trolley, and you'd balance like 4 to 6 to 8 trays of eggs on your leg, and you'd literally just grab them and like just push them in to the trolleys all the way, rack by rack by rack.
Fair enough.
And then they would go into the incubators, and then from the incubators would go into the hatcher, which is where I explained with the metal tables, and you'll have the incubator trolley next to the table, and you'll have this big metal kind of like slat. The one side has like a ridge where you would have your hand, and the rest is flat, and you hold the like the tray, and you slide it underneath these 4 trays, and then you pull it out, you put it on the table, and then the people on the other side are the hatcher trolleys are actually in the hatches with the hatches turned on, and they pull the tray out of the hatcher trolley, put it on the table, and you literally just kind of flip the eggs into the tray, and then they take them back and put them into the thing. So while they're putting the tray back, you're taking out the next load. So sometimes if their trays have a little bit of malfunction, we take out the eggs before sometimes they wait for us if we can't get the slide in and stuff like that. So we do that manually. And then after obviously how many days, like the chicks are ready to be taken out. So then we take them out of the hatches and we put them into the first room, which is usually all completely dusty, full of fluff, because you're literally taking them out of these, trays and stuff. And this is where you put them on the thingo, and you take all the chicks out and you put them on a conveyor belt, and they just go down. So they don't fall through anything. They go down on the conveyor belt, and then the tray still has all of the eggs in it. You push it to the side, and then there's this machine that just flips all the eggs into like this machine that literally grinds.
Just mulches them.
Everything. Yeah. And then the tray gets pushed down, and it goes through this kind of conveyor belt down to another room where there's a guy with or a woman, so I've done it too, with this huge, really powerful, high-pressure hose cleaner, and they
cleans
just
off the
clean them, and they.
So you obviously worked in a place that is a bit less budget than the. It's a smaller hatchery than what we just saw, but
it is much smaller.
All in all, the general principle and the the standard operating procedure is more or less follows the same steps.
Well, yeah. So not completely. So the machines that you saw that kind of look and take out the eggs that haven't been fertile or whatever, the ones that they've removed, we don't actually do that. So sometimes the supervisor or one of the full-timers, because we only have about 2 or 3 full-timers, mostly that will do rotations of checking all the trolleys and going in to the incubators and everything, is what they do is they get an egg and they get a torch.
And just see if there's anything inside. Yep.
And it's literally random. They have a specific which one on which trolley, and they mark which ones they've checked and stuff.
Fair enough.
So, and sometimes like you'll see that from a tray, there's been eggs taken out, so they found out that one wasn't fertile, or the egg has actually in the incubator exploded. So it's a rotten egg. So sometimes they don't explode in the incubator; they be rotten, and then when we do the transfers into the hatcher, it goes and it explodes. Which I mentioned this into a previous Whaps episode.
Yep. I remember.
Would explode all over us. So just to continue on to the final process when they leave us. So they go down the conveyor belt, and some mornings, some companies require different genders of chicks. So that's when all of the workers come in, and it's a morning for I think an hour or 2 where we start sexing the chickens, or until we reach the order limit, which is about an hour and a half, depending on how quick we work. Is where we literally grab the chick and we just
check the
gender and just do that into the different
chutes.
They don't have chutes. It's different to there. It's literally just another conveyor belt, and they have walls
fair.
Of where they go, and then a person on the end has to kind of move the thing when they have enough chicks in the box. The vaccination in the eggs, that doesn't happen. So when they go down the conveyor belt with the box, there's a machine they stop under. It sprays them, and then they come out where the truckies, I'll actually put them on these little wheels first and then just stack them on top of each other and then push them. And they're all just, it gets so loud when they're all, like, there's more trolleys of them. It's just so loud because they're all, like, all just chirping away. But they are so adorable. I've struggled not to take all of them home.
Yeah, fair enough.
They're just cute. But we actually did take one home, because what happens is so besides them, like any deformities or anything, we do have to put them to sleep. We have a gas chamber, so we gas them. But if there's a chick left behind that fell out of a box or something when being loaded onto the truck, we have
Generally, just ignore it.
we have to kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of us workers don't want to do that, so we actually kind of, and you know, I can't mention, but he says this person has said, as long as I don't know about it or hear about it, that's
Do whatever
fine.
you want, yeah.
We take them home. So there's been a worker that has taken multiples home. I took one home. And I had to give him up because I couldn't keep him any longer because I had to go back to work. And this was around a time where actually I was in a car accident and I was away from work. So I had to give him, and he was looking at me and I was looking at him, and I cried. I was so devastated that I had to give him back.
Fair enough.
And I might, if I can find a photo of him, I'll attach it. I named him Pips, and to this day I still think about him. I miss him, and I really hope that he ended up having a really good life. So,
yeah, fair enough. Anyways, we are actually reaching our hour limit, but I think we can squeeze in one more video.
Yeah, let's do it.
That kind of ties into our previous video.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what happens next in the chain. Now, for all of you squeamish people,
like me,
you might want to skip this video. Remember in the last video that we watched about the hatcheries, how I mentioned mystery meat? Well, that was like only half a joke, and this is why. All right, there we go. A chicken from start to finish. Oh, I'm just the worst piece of shit.
I'm so glad though that we didn't see the middle part of the slaughterhouse, because I've heard stories and I just don't want to think about it, to be honest.
Well, as I said, family show. So,
Yeah.
you know, you would imagine that something that rolls on public TV at around 10 a.m.
Yeah.
shouldn't have, stuff being killed.
Yeah, well, they still sometimes get away with it, don't they?
Sometimes, yeah, the TV has changed. It just reminds me that I'm getting older and I hate it. I'm almost 30 and I don't know how to feel about it. Oh well, anyways. We are actually way over time. So, do you have anything as a closing word before we finish this week off?
I hope we haven't put you off eating chicken with my exploding rotten egg stories and how we sex the chickens and throw them off their wings.
Not really.
You know?
Because this last scene just made me crave fried chicken. So.
Well, I'm not craving fried chicken. I'm more salmon now. I'm just like, give me that salmon.
As it turns out, my original plan for this episode was to look at some random stuff being made, like for instance cork and bottles and fishing lures and all, and we ended up watching how two types of food are made, how future food is being made, and soft drinks. I think it's about time for dinner.
Are you hungry? I was gonna ask, are you hungry?
Anyways, this is where we're gonna leave off. We're gonna go and see if there's anything for dinner, because it is that time of day.
Mm-hmm.
And for everyone else, I do hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day, weekend, night, wherever, whenever you are. Don't forget to like the video. Likes are very important. Comment down below, subscribe, ring the bell, interact with the channel, because that actually helps the algorithm notice our little channel and our little videos and this little podcast thingy, so it might actually recommend us to more people, which is what all of us want ultimately. Yeah. We want to entertain more larger audiences, and larger audiences want to be entertained, so it's a win-win. All it takes is a couple of clicks from you, so please do. We appreciate it. Until next episode, I hope you had a good time. I hope you managed to relax, chill out, a little bit with us, get some background noise if that is your thing. And it's been Anna and Laz in another episode of Sunday Whaps.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, all.
Bye.